Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. With Janmashtami coming just round the corner, we are presenting you a series of 5 short videos, which is like a meditation bite. So here we would be giving you certain prompts as how you can think about that, you can meditate on that, and you can prepare your consciousness to welcome Krishna in your heart. So this is inspired by Krishna book, which Srila Prabhupada has so mercifully provided us. And let us begin about this meditation series. So in these 5 videos, for 5 days, I'll be giving you 5 prompts. And today's prompt is Leela of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord Krishna, He has been performing so many various Leelas, and each one of us is very unique. Each of the Leela is so unique that it stimulates a particular emotion within us. When we talk about the paternal emotion, Damodar Leela, where we see that how Krishna, he wakes up one morning and he is looking for his mother and he starts crying. He's a small baby and he's crying for mother's attention, and he goes and he finds Mother Yashoda, and it depicts that how Krishna is completely dependent on Mother Yashoda. He is so powerful, he's so chivalrous, and yet we see in this Leela that how he gets so scared by Mother Yashoda. It is described that his lips, which are like bimba fruit, it starts shivering and quivering, and the tears starts flowing down his eyes, and his voice is choking up. Why is that happening? He is exhibiting such signs of deep, deep fear. Whom is he fearful of? He is fearful of his own Mother Yashoda. So it is mentioned that the fear personified, he is scared of Krishna. And here we see Krishna who's scared of Mother Yashoda. Why is he afraid? Why is he scared? Because of her love. Not only that, he allows himself to be tied by the ropes of love of Mother Yashoda. So when we read this pastime and we experience such amazing emotions, parental emotions within us, then there are certain Leelas which exhibit how devotees have absolute faith in Krishna. One such wonderful, astounding Leela is Aghasur Leela. So we know that Krishna, along with his friends, he was out for his picnic one day, and then these boys, he saw this huge, gigantic thing which was not there the previous day and which was present there. And when they see this, and they were slightly like this thought crossed their mind that what if it is some demon? And then they thought, Krishna is there. So when Krishna is there, we need not fear. Even if it is demon, the end of this demon would be like Bakasura. Thinking like that, they started walking straight inside that python's mouth. And when they were entering, do you know what they were doing? They were laughing loudly and clapping their hands. And that's how they enter. If we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see that how these young boys, they were carefree. And who was anxious? The anxiety was there in Krishna. Krishna was anxious. How can I stop these boys from entering the mouth of the python? But the boys were carefree. Why were they so carefree? Because they were completely dependent on Krishna, and they had this faith that Krishna will protect. Similarly, we see the Brahman Patnis or the Dvij Patnis. So when the boys go and beg for some charity to the husbands or the Vedic Brahmanas, they were busy in performing their rituals. They were chanting the Vedic mantras. They were actually so busy worshipping Krishna that when Krishna's messenger came, they refused. But on the other hand, we see these simple village women who had so much devotion and surrender to Krishna that they ran with all their offerings to serve Krishna. So that is how there are Leelas which talk about devotees' absolute surrender. Then there are certain pastimes which ignite the feelings of love and romance. There are such loving quarrels there, like the pearl pastime which happened at Moti Kund. So the description is there that Krishna, one day he saw that these young gopis, they were decorating themselves with beautiful pearl garlands. Krishna said, "Can you give me some pearls? I would like to decorate my cows." These these gopis, they mocked at Krishna, they laughed at him, and they rebuked Krishna. So Krishna said, if you will not give me, I will plant my own pearl garden. And that is another beautiful pastime, as how Krishna planted the pearls, and the pearl trees actually came with lots of pearls, and the gopis tried the same thing and nothing happened. A similar pastime which talks about such loving fight is when a poor Brahmana, he approaches Krishna and he says that, can you give me something? I want to marry off my daughter. And Krishna says, I do not have anything. All I have, my biggest wealth, my jewel, is Srimati Radharani. So, oh dear Brahmana, take my dear Radhe in charity. And then there is this whole sequence as how the gopis, the other gopis, they started fighting with Krishna. How could you give Radharani in charity? So such leelas are there. Then there are some leelas wherein we see how Krishna protects his dependents, how one becomes absolutely fearless when he takes shelter of Krishna. Bhajahu re mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. So when we take the shelter of Krishna, we become abhay, fearless. So there are many such leelas, like there is this famous Govardhan leela, where when Indra gets angry and he starts, like he calls for Samantaka clouds and he starts flooding the whole Braj area. Krishna lifts Govardhan and he asks all the inhabitants of Govardhan, irrespective of which bodily form they were, so like the cows, the dogs, all the animals, and of course the Brajvasis, everyone together beneath Govardhan, and Krishna protected them. Similarly, we see when Rukmini, she was forced against her wishes to marry Shishupal. So she writes a letter. She has not met Krishna yet. She writes a letter. She sends that letter through a Brahmana, and Krishna, when he receives that letter and reads the content, he comes to protect Rukmini Devi. He steals Rukmini, or he kidnaps Rukmini as per her plan. We also see that how, if we read Mahabharata, there are various occasions where Krishna protected the Pandavas. Another type of leela, which is a very hope-giving leela, is that when Draupadi calls out for Krishna. So when Draupadi was being disrobed in the assembly full of very exalted people also, like Bhishma Dev, Kripacharya, Dronacharya, her own 5 husbands, and no one could protect her. And she calls out for Krishna, and Krishna appears in the form of that long, unending cloth, and he protects Draupadi. So this pastime gives us hope that Krishna, he is listening to our prayers too. And though we can't see him, he is actually seeing us. He is actually caring about us. So when no one is there, Krishna is there. And when we are surrounded with people around us, like how Draupadi was, yet ultimately Krishna only is there to protect us. There is another type of leela. So when life becomes very difficult, when I don't know what to do, when I am unable to take my decisions, when I lose all my composure, and I am looking for a mentor, I am looking for a friend, I am looking for a guide, Krishna appears in the form of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So he protected Arjuna, and many times in our life, we are in such a delicate condition. So Krishna is there and we can approach him too. So these are some of my personal favorite leelas which I presented you today. Now my question to all of you is, what about you? Let's say if you are given an opportunity that you can actually witness one of the leelas of Krishna, what that leela would be. So find out that one leela. Go to vedabase.io and download Krishna, browse through Krishna book and find it out as which leela is that where you want to personally participate and witness. Meditate on that leela and meditate on the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.